Hey, homeowners, when was the last time you checked on your home title? That, of course, is the legal record proving that you own your home. Yep, if your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles. Yeah, they're stealing the title to your home. Your equity is the target. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock so you could find out today if you're already a victim. Don't be a victim. Use my promo code Anthony at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you're going to get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection.
Done with a week, and fate, whatever it is, has jam-packed the new week with so much crap that you could just do a whole nother show on it. Nihilistic, a little nihilistic. I get it. I'm not quite as pessimistic for everything in the world as I come off on Sunday evenings between 8 and 11 p.m. But, you know, it seems that way. And I understand. I take walks in the park. I play with my dog. I've seen sunsets and sunrises. So it's not all bad. But between 8 and 11, I like talking about the stuff that pisses people off. And for that, there is plenty. Plenty. Just did a quick little thing on the social media lies that are going on with ICE. And, this is spectacular. Spectacular demonstrations of lying. Whether you're purposely lying to people or you're just too stupid, I don't even know what it is. I don't know if they're actual liars that are going, now I'll post some erroneous information. I don't know. I've been around long enough to know there's a lot of dummies out there. We are sharing the planet with a cavalcade of idiots. And social media has shown us that. It really has. Every so often, I just love watching an old news clip, an old documentary, one of those shows from the BBC back in the 80s, and they're talking about something called the Internet. And even here in the United States, it was this puzzling thing. No one really understood it. Why would I need something like the Internet? Home computers one day will be the size of your washing machine. And everyone will use them in your house. There's Junior doing some homework. We never really got it when it first kicked over. And you saw people like Bill Gates and Wozniak and all those really early computer people saying that, no, you don't understand how necessary computers are going to be. They will be in your life, part of your life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You won't be able to live your life in the future without some computing device. Even they couldn't imagine the cell phone. It's not. Most of the time you don't use a cell, and most of the time you're not using it as a phone. You're a handheld computer device. No one could even fathom that. But they were saying you were going to have to be computer savvy in some way, shape, or form. You are going to have to have one, at least one, in your house. Most of your appliances will incorporate computers into them. And, you looked around, you couldn't really figure out why I would need this. I go to work, I get up, I shower, I make some breakfast, I get in my car, I turn the key, I turn on the radio. You go to work, you do your job. You couldn't see where a computer could be shoehorned into that lifestyle you were having. Someone needs to get in touch with me, they call. Bring that damn phone. Bring. And, you'd pick it up or you didn't. And there just wasn't, it never seemed like something we'd need. Now look. It's in your life every single day. It's influencing what you do, what you think, how you vote, obviously, who you're friends with. It's a huge part of it. And I think the biggest part we didn't understand was the communal aspect of computing. We assumed it was going to be you at home with your computer device. And then that kind of was what it was when you first started using it. Oh, what are you doing? I'm doing some bills. I have my banking program. And I'm doing my accounting. All right, you're not sending that out to everybody. And then gaming was a big thing with younger people. But even that, there wasn't a lot of online gaming. So again, you were just playing a game, you and your trusted computer friend. And then the internet, that thing popped up. And people are going, what is this? I have my computer. What else do I need? What is this internet thing? And we never understood why we'd need to communicate with Earth, with everyone on the planet. When did that become something that was so necessary? I mean, I understand if you were a young tin knocker doing air conditioning and heating and got an invite to do radio, that I'd be talking to a few more people than just at home or on the phone. And all of a sudden, the internet became a thing where people felt compelled to give their opinions to everyone else and to hear other people's opinions, which for the most part pissed you off. I can't stand this guy. Who? This guy. Don't even know who he is. But I tell you, I can't stand him. And that kind of came out of, once online things started happening, like banking. And everyone said, this is great. I could do my banking from home and transfer and pay bills. But that didn't really include having to talk to some guy in Portland about politics or how to treat your dog or, you're an idiot, your job sucks, you're gay. All the things we've become very used to. We've become very used to hearing online. And lying, it's kind of getting back to where I started here. Lying it became a big thing for various reasons. The propaganda aspect of it, to get people to vote for the candidate they want you to vote for, to change opinions, to get you to like someone or hate someone. That became a huge part of what we do with our phones and whatever our computation device of the du jour is. So when I see things now on social media about ICE and the Border Patrol, and they're completely fake, completely made up, I think, well, it's got to be somebody that's trying to use it as propaganda or idiots that will not check. And I guess it's both. I guess the people that want you to read something fake so it changes your mind are using I guess they call them useful idiots, the morons, to post these things without ever checking. And then I don't even know if they're the type of people that if they did check and found out that they were spreading lies, that they would care or change it or say, well, whoops, didn't mean to post that. I just checked and it's fake. I don't see a lot of that going on. I see lies being posted and they're up there forever. They never seem to want to take them down. And the latest being the ICE, the 6-year-old girl. There are people posting that a ICE agent handcuffed a 6-year-old girl. He's next to the cruiser. He's putting cuffs on this wee little lass. And if you did you didn't even have to look. Just look at the video, and you'll realize it was a sheriff's department car from some sheriff in the United States. And then if you checked what the story was, and these days you can even check with Grok. You don't even have to do your own research. Grok, what's this story? And Grok tells you. And it turns out that was a 27-year-old woman that was stopped for walking in the middle of a busy road. And until they found out who she was and what she was up to, they put her in cuffs, detained her for her safety and the police officer's safety. That's what they say. And then when they got everything straightened out, they took her cuffs off and said, stay out of the street and let her go. Let her walk away. 27 years old. And like I said, very easy to find out. But did the people that are posting this use any of their time and energy to see if this was fake? No, they wanted it to be a true story. They wanted it so bad to be an ICE agent cuffing a 6-year-old that they actually put it out there as truth without looking into it at all. And that seems to be a big part of the internet. I don't know. We were baffled, boggled, and bewildered many years ago as to where this would bring us when we heard people talking about the internet and what'll we use it for and why. I'm comfortable in my life right now. Well, folks, we need it to lie to each other, to get really nasty, to call people out and bully them, hopefully to the point where they off themselves, because that seems to be the winning goal when you're trying to bully someone online. Yeah, there's our internet. Enjoy. Kick back, scroll, put out some nastiness, and enjoy. Just getting started. Don't go anywhere. More of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
Attack of the Ant-Man. Attack of the Ant-Man.
I'm the Ant-Man. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, man, I was scheduled to come see you up in Detroit.
Yep. We were supposed to do a comedy gig, myself, the great Mr. Gavin McInnes, and Josh Denny. We've been doing comedy tours for the past few years now, all over the country. It's been a lot of fun until Charlie Kirk got shot. Then, my family, I know my family and my loved ones and everything said, we don't want you doing this, at least for the short term. We don't want you going out. I am, you could call me a lot of things, but I am also considered a controversial right-wing talk show host. And the left is insane. They have no qualms about murdering people that they have been instructed to murder because they are an existential threat to democracy and every kind of ist and phobe there is. So while I would have loved to have seen you, Nathan, and everyone else that would have come to Detroit, Michigan for the show, we've canceled all of our stand-up gigs, at least until maybe next year. We'll see. But look, I love to be the guy that's like, I'm standing up and I'm going to, that's the hill I'm going to die on and no one's going to stop me from. Yeah, I get it. But when your family is really worried about some idiot putting a bullet in your head, you got to kind of have priorities,
Yeah, I get it. I had a little bit of hope with you being the gun nut,
Yeah. Well, last time I was in Detroit, I did bring my gun. South Carolina and Michigan reciprocate with each other as far as gun licenses and permits go. If you have a permit in South Carolina, it is valid in Michigan. So when I went to Detroit, I had my gun on me. I don't like going places where I cannot arm myself with the best tool available to defend myself and my loved ones against the best tool available. Someone else, they're not going to care if they want to do evil with their gun. They're not going to pay attention to laws and a little sign in some business's window. So, yeah, I want that same ability that they have to take a life. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Nate. Goes Nathan. I feel bad. I would like to continue this tour. It was a lot of fun. We met so many really fun people. We go out, we hang out at the bar. We don't just run to the green room, and we do our show and hang out and have some drinks with everyone. Everyone's chill, but we're living in crazy times. And you watch that very graphic video of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and the last thing you want to be is on the other end of that round. So while I apologize, I think it's pretty understandable. Anywho, let's see. Maybe take another call before the next break. How about Jaden? Jaden up there in New York, upstate. What's up?
How's it going, Anthony?
Goodly.
I wanted to talk to you about these ICE situations going on in the left and just how violent and how quick they are to jump to violence.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you go ahead. You wanted to call. You told me what you wanted to talk about, and I'm like, that sounds good. Continue, Jaden.
Yeah, I've been watching these live streams. I don't know if you heard of Cam Higbee. I was watching his live streams the last 2 nights, and he's just filming and documenting what's going on, and they just surround you, and they're just so quick to want to beat you up. And they hate this country so much, but they hate the legal system, and they hate how long it takes to get in. And it's like, why do you want people to come here so much if you hate this country so much? And why don't you just leave?
Yeah, they're getting kind of a lesson, though, in it ain't 2 years ago. It ain't 3 years ago. These people were able to harass law enforcement as much as they wanted. They could get in front of them, spit in their face, throw things, assault them, and every law enforcement agency in the country was told to stand down, just stand there with your shield, don't provoke them. And now they're seeing they do something, they get thrown on their ass. And it's beautiful to watch, and it's keeping a large portion of the crowds away, because all it took was a few of them to see, like, oh, we can't just do what we did a couple of years ago. Well, I'm not going to show up then. I don't want to get arrested or thrown on the ground or something. So really all it takes is a little show of force for these dummies to not show up.
Yeah, they're a bunch of wimps.
Yeah, they certainly are.
They really are. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Yes. Yeah. It is funny because, we've all seen the videos from years ago. And I remember saying, you're clenching your teeth. And you're saying, God, I feel bad for these cops. You know damn well they want to do their job. And we could all look and say, I know I would be doing a lot more than just my job. You want to smash these idiots. But even the cops know, all right, what this guy's doing subjects him to arrest. They don't just let him go. If he starts running, they don't leave him. They run these guys down now, tackle them, cuff them, and haul them inside, just like they should. And some of their comrades, as they like to call each other, are shocked by it. What are you doing? That's a female. I love that one. They got a woman who just starts punching and resisting and throwing things. And then when the cops put her on the ground, what are you doing? That's a girl. Yeah, really? 4 guys to take down a girl? Yeah. Yeah, because if it was one-on-one, the cop might have to punch her in the face. This is what they don't understand. 4 people for that one person? Yeah. Yeah, you want it old school where they could pull out the nightstick and belt you in the head a few times, then it would be one-on-one. I'm sure a lot of cops would like it that way. But truth be told, they got to be all nice, and these people can't end up in jail with some bleeding wounds. So 4 people, 4 officers have to be used to subdue and control some of these people so they're not as injured as they would be if it was one-on-one. But again, you're trying to explain this to idiots. They don't get it. That's a girl. Why 2 officers for one little girl? Because they don't want to have to punch her in the face because she's resisting and biting and scratching and kicking. And you might want to get an officer on the feet and one on the arms, but they just will never understand that the cops are doing their best to not hurt these people, much to their chagrin, I'm sure. All right, plenty more when we return with the Anthony Cumia Show. Mark Ruffalo. Ugh. Ugh. Mark Ruffalo, he wants socialism. He's on Rainn Wilson's podcast. Rainn Wilson has a podcast. Of course he does. Everyone does. We are full up, people. Podcasting is full. Enough. If you're thinking about starting one, don't. We have way too many right now. It's like illegal immigrants. Everyone streamed over the podcasting border, started their own podcasts. Most of them stink and are a burden. And do we really need, especially another Hollywood celebrity podcast, so they could get their buddies on there and tell us that socialism is better than capitalism? This Mark Ruffalo is a jerk. Sorry for the harsh language. He's a jerk. So he's on there, and he's saying the current system isn't working. Really, Mark? How's it working for you? All these wannabe socialists, they already have utilized capitalism and the American way, the way the forefathers imagined, the way that it's been historically. Good ideas, some motivation, a helping of luck, and you make something of yourself. You make a career, a profession, a business, whatever it is. And these Hollywood idiots, they have the most, luck is the biggest helping of what they need. I've seen plenty of really untalented actors hit the stratosphere as far as their acting career goes. It's who you know. It's a meeting that you had. It's following an agenda that the people in Hollywood want you to follow. But luck is a huge part in any entertainment business. I'm sure there are amazing musicians right now playing in a garage somewhere that will never be a huge success and are better than any band out there right now, because luck is such a huge part of success in the entertainment business. So you get someone like Mark Ruffalo, who's already gone through the luck, the making of the money. He's in blockbuster superhero movies, and so he makes all this money and enjoys a lifestyle that less than 1% of this country enjoys. The wealth, the fame, the ability to live in the lap of luxury from the money. And then he decides, hey, I don't think this capitalism thing's working. We should be socialist. Right, America? Sorry, Mark. Everyone didn't get the deal you got. Where you get to get a piece of paper, you read a few lines off of it, and they film you, and you're unbelievably wealthy now. They always do it at this point in their career. You don't see young, motivated, full of pea and vinegar Mark Ruffalo saying, hey, how about socialism? I'll work, I'll be an actor, and I'll earn money, but it'll go to the collective. I'd like my money for my latest movie. I'm making $10 million, let's say. I'm Mark Ruffalo. I'm making $10 million. But there are so many actors and actresses that aren't making money, and they're working hard. They're auditioning. They're doing indie movies that don't pay them even $1,000. So Mark Ruffalo, the socialist, I would imagine, would want to take his $10 million and dole it out to some of these actors and actresses that aren't making $10 million. Because that's the fair thing to do, right? That's the socialist way that this works. Because he says capitalism doesn't work. How fast can Mark Ruffalo get to the bank and start depositing money into actors and actresses' accounts that aren't making millions? I'd like to see that if he's so into, socialism. Hey, podcasts. God, am I sick of the podcast. Enough. You're not going to do it. Anyone starting a podcast now, you know what it reminds me of? Years ago when I was a kid, I remember some of my relatives, like aunts and uncles, and they would talk about the pyramid. And they're like, oh, yeah, I just gave my buddy $1,000. And it's this pyramid thing. And my buddy gets me. I give him 1,000. He gets like 5 more people. And then he takes that 5,000. He takes his cut and then sends it up the pyramid. And then you move up. The more money you bring in, you move up. And then when you're at the top of the pyramid, you get thousands upon thousands of dollars from everyone paying up. And out of all of the people, all of my relatives and friends I've heard over the years that got involved with this, not one of them made anything. They all lost whatever the amount was that you put into this pyramid, a Ponzi scheme, as it were. And, that's how people imagine it is. That's how people imagine America should be. Just, this guy's making money. He can give it to me. And then I bring some people in. And then you realize, no, it doesn't work. That's unsustainable. Capitalism, the American way of life and economy, that's been working for quite some time. It's only the dummies, the rich people, by the way, and Mamdani's one of them. Don't let him fool you. Look at his family. Look where this guy comes from. Money. You will never see someone preaching socialism that doesn't come from money, because that's their advantage at that point. I already have my money I made through a different economic way than socialism. So I have my big nest egg. Now we'll be socialists, and I could be one of the big men on the pyramid. And you're a lowly person that's never going to make anything, and you're going to have to kick up your $1,000 to me. That's what it is. The only socialists that aren't wealthy, that want to be socialists, are the dummies. Again, the useful idiots of these Hollywood people and Washington politicians and New York, like Mamdani. They are able to appeal to these young idiots that have no idea what socialism is. They have no idea what capitalism is. They have no idea how their parents earn their money. They just look at it like, man, I'm not doing that, man. I'm not working for the man. And they have no idea what socialism is. And when questioned about it, someone on the street, you'll see a lot of these street interviews. Someone on the street will question them about it, and they won't know what it is. And then when they tell them some of the aspects of socialism, they go, oh, no, that doesn't sound too good. So easily manipulated. But, what I was getting to was podcasting. Podcasting is the pyramid scheme. If you're trying to get into podcasting now, you're one of the guys handing the $1,000 in. I got a podcast. It's going to be great. Everyone, I'm going to be Joe Rogan. And then you go, what? I can't get anyone to watch. And I have to pay for YouTube, like the good YouTube where people don't get ads, or I have to, start my own thing and I have to pay bandwidth from a streaming company. So, yeah, that's what you're doing. Come up with something else. People need to come up with something else but podcasting. Just lay off the podcasting a while. It's not working. It's not your bag, man. Hey. Oh, I got a few things here I didn't even get to already. We're blowing by things, and I'm yapping so much I didn't even get to this. Governor Pritzker from Illinois, been talking about him a lot because he's been talking a lot and eating a lot of pepperoni pizzas. He tells ICE stories. Again, I think these are all lies. I did hear tell about a helicopter that was used in an ICE raid on a building, and they put some ICE members on the roof, and they went in and grabbed some illegal aliens. Their job, what we elected Trump to do, what he campaigned on, what we want, what we don't have buyer's remorse for, regardless of what idiots like Jane Fonda say. And, that's part of their job. But Pritzker, of course, wants it to sound like a war crime is being committed. Here's Governor Pritzker telling some ICE stories of helicopters and what have you.
Well, the broader goal, I believe, is the militarization of major American cities before the 2026 elections.
Oh, this is the other one.
Let me be clear about what's going on the streets of Chicago. They have dressed ICE and CBP in fatigues, put them in military gear, including with automatic weapons, and had them marching up and down major streets in downtown Chicago. It's a signal that they're trying to send that it's okay to have troops on your street, that this would be a welcome thing for people who live in Chicago. Nobody here welcomes it, by the way. I mean, literally, as they're walking down the street, people are yelling at them. But they think they can get people used to the idea. And next year, I fear that what they're going to do is deploy these folks eventually to polling places and say they're protecting the vote. Donald Trump knows that without shenanigans and without these breaches of the Constitution, that he's going to lose the Congress. And if he loses, he's going to immediately, in the aftermath of the election, do what he said he might do in 2020, which is use the military to confiscate the ballot boxes and count the votes, claiming that there's fraud. Remember, he's called up all 50 states' election data to the Department of Justice because they want to review all 50 states for fraud. Yeah. And they won't tell you exactly what they're going to do, but I fear that these are all connected. And this militarization, even without National Guard or military troops on the ground, you're seeing ICE act like a militaristic organization. You're seeing CBP act like it. One more thing. CBP, I want to remind you, the Customs and Border Patrol, they're supposed to only operate within about 100 miles of a border. We're not anywhere near a border here in Chicago. So how can they operate here? Well, they're claiming that Lake Michigan, the shores of Lake Michigan in Chicago, those shores are the border of the United States. But Canada's an awful long way from here across Lake Michigan. So we know that they're using it, again, as a pretext. They want CBP here. Those are the folks that you saw in uniform marching up and down the streets. Greg Bovino, who led the effort in Los Angeles.
All right, you could cut him off here. Yeah. He's full of himself and full of food, and he's a disaster. Did you hear him talking about they shouldn't be anywhere near away from a border, 100 miles from a border, and that's the Border Patrol works that way? That would have been great. That would have been great if during the Biden debacle they weren't picking up the illegals, flying them in jets, and putting them in various parts of the country that were further than 100 miles from the border. Do you see how that works? Do you see how maybe Trump and ICE and the Border Patrol are working in a way to fix the mess that Biden put into this country? How do you think they got to Minneapolis from Somalia? They didn't jump the border of Canada. They were purposely put there. And when you look at Ohio, when the Haitians were put in Springfield, Ohio, if they were just running across the border and the Border Patrol was allowed under the Biden administration to scoop them up when they came across and throw them out of the country, then they would have been working within 100 miles of the border. But when you pick them up and fly them to various cities in various states in this country that are further than 100 miles from the border, well, then the Border Patrol has to go further than 100 miles to clean up your mess. Does anyone see that? They tried a tactic there. They tried one of these tactics. Hey, we'll take the Border Patrol out of the mix if we could just get these people 100 miles from the border. Well, how do we do that? Buses, planes. We'll fly them to New York. We'll fly them to Ohio. We'll fly them anywhere they need to be, 100 miles away. And then the Border Patrol can't do anything. And then Trump gets in and goes, yeah, how about the Border Patrol is a United States of America government law enforcement? And they could function anywhere in the country, especially if the previous administration has been dumping their garbage everywhere in the country. Enough. They think we're stupid. They're stupid. Yeah, there was something else, too. Governor Pritzker talking about the ICE arrests. Do you have that clip, too? I think it's the only other Pritzker clip that I sent. Yeah, play this one. This is some of his fantasy ICE stories.
Imagine being a child awakened in the middle of the night by a Black Hawk helicopter landing on your roof. Imagine an armed stranger entering your home and forcibly removing you from your bed, zip-tying your hands, separating you from your family, and detaining you in a dark van for hours. This didn't happen in some faraway authoritarian regime. It happened right here in Chicago, right here in the United States of America.
The thugs have Black Hawk helicopters
The reports
now?
of excessive use of force against children is unconscionable.
Please.
And the way many innocent residents who lived in the building were treated is appalling. In response, I've directed the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services and the Illinois Department of Human Services to provide support and to evaluate the treatment of the children who were traumatized.
Of course, traumatized.
If they find suspected abuse or neglect by federal agents, the state will be taking every possible action to hold those individuals accountable.
Mm-hmm. How about that? How about that? The poor children. You see how they use things like that? Oh, the children. Oh, and the residents. Oh, the abuse that they suffered and the trauma. ICE had to do their job. And I love the idea that they're using helicopters. Take them from the roof. You don't know where these guys are going to run to. And sorry you live in a building that's full of illegals. What do you want? They can't just walk in. These days they're prevented from doing their job by everybody in Chicago. Every person of power, the people, the citizens of Chicago want ICE to do their job. And want law enforcement to do their job to make them safer. But Pritzker will tell you no one in Chicago wants that done. They lie. He's a liar. The Democrats are all about lying right now. Everything from the illegals to the closing of the government. It's all lies. That's all they know how to do. And the fear that they want to do. Oh, the children are being zip-tied into. Show me. Show me one that isn't a 27-year-old woman that you're saying is a 6-year-old. I haven't seen one legitimate case of an American citizen being deported. They tell you this. American citizens are being deported. Really? Show me one case. And the other thing, kids. Show me one kid that isn't committing some type of crime that is being cuffed or zip-tied. Children of illegals that are being rounded up by ICE. Please, I beg you, show me one clip. Liars. They're all liars. All right, back with more of the show. Your calls, 800-848-9222. And more when we return with the Anthony Cumia Show. This was pure Howard Stern. Remember the rumors that Howard was going to retire? And it was like, oh, he's gone. They're going to fire him. They're lowering his pay so much that he's going to quit. Sirius Satellite doesn't want him there anymore. This, that. It's that guy will be there till he cannot be there anymore. He's at his house. He doesn't go to the studio anymore. He does the show from his house. And how hard could that be? And he doesn't even need to be the old version of Howard Stern anymore. He can be another left-wing, liberal jackass that just spouts off about Trump and MAGA, pats his buddies on the back, Jimmy Kimmel, and all of them. They're the greatest. So that's Stern now. And I think he knows that if he retires from Sirius XM, that's it. What's he going to start a podcast? Enough. We're done. Thank you. But he knows this is like his last hurrah, so he's going to milk it for all it's worth. And he's making a lot of money. Even if Sirius cuts him from $100 million a year to $20 million, it's $20 million. He's fine with that. So I don't know. I don't know what that's all about, but I did hear a clip from him. And, of course, he's just bashing Trump and Trump supporters and everything. And earlier this weekend, I saw Kai Trump and President Trump playing golf. And it was a great video. I guess Kai is doing a podcast. I don't know. Maybe she's just doing some Instagram or TikToks. But she's in the golf cart with Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, her grandfather. And they play golf a lot together. And it's just a really cool relationship. It's a young girl. She's obviously his granddaughter. And she's got her ideas and things. And Trump is an old guy. He's the president of the United States. And they talk with this great rapport they have with each other. And they're playing golf. And this is something we didn't see hide nor hair of during the Biden administration. The Obama administration, did we see any Obama? I didn't think his kids could speak until he was out of office. They were just pictures of him and his two kids, and it's been rumored that that might not even be true. Big Mike. But to see the way Trump is with his family, with his own kids, and now with his grandkids, it really is amazing. Everything the guy's done over the course of the years, the presidency, all the nonsense with the stolen election in 2020, and he's just got this great relationship. There's no allegations of disgusting conduct like there was with Biden and his own daughter. There's no people that are shunned and exiled from the Trump family, like Hunter Biden's illegitimate daughter that Joe Biden and Dr. Jill never acknowledge. It's your son's kid. It's your grandchild. And nothing, never even acknowledged that poor kid. What fault is it of hers? She got a stripper mother, and this crackhead comes and sullies her, and you're now the granddaughter of the President of the United States. And they don't speak about you. They don't say anything. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'll get to the clips on the other side of the break here. And we got, Stern talking about Trump and your calls and a lot more. Plenty to talk about on the Anthony Cumia Show. This Washington State basketball player, 15 years old, doesn't want to play against an 18-year-old man. That's coming up. Is that weird? In 2025, do we even have to be talking about something like that? That a 15-year-old girl doesn't want to play basketball with an 18-year-old man? Continuing what I was talking about as far as the Stern thing and the Kai Trump and Donald Trump, just it's a family. It's a real family. If Donald Trump was a Democrat and he had been in politics for a little while before he ran for president and was one of them, in the clubhouse, and he had a granddaughter like Kai, and they would go out golfing together, the media would not stop talking about how amazing a grandfather Donald Trump is and what a wonderful family he has. And now they don't even talk about it. And Joe Biden, there were horrific allegations about what he was doing with his daughter, as per her diary, and the illegitimate granddaughter from the stripper down in, where the hell was that? Arkansas, something. That Arkansas. And then all the media would do is promote Hunter Biden and lie for him. And Biden would talk about what a great guy, greatest guy I know, smartest guy, Hunter Biden. And then holidays would come around and they'd talk about their kids and grandkids. And not once would the poor little kid from the stripper, would that name ever come up. What a horrid family, the Bidens. Just a horrible family. And then you got a great family like the Trumps, and the best the media could do is ignore it. What they actually do is just badmouth them constantly. So I was looking at that, and then I see this clip of Stern. Howard Stern, one-time radio bad boy. Now he's just like every other liberal shill out there. It's embarrassing. And he says something here that so many people say, and every Trump supporter has the same answer for this. And you know what it is? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. The question is, does Donald Trump care about you? We've heard this so many times. I think they think it's a slight. I think they believe that if they tell us that Donald Trump doesn't individually care for every single one of us, that somehow we were duped into voting for him. I personally, and I do feel that this is a lot of Trump supporters, don't care at all about a politician caring about me. What does that even mean? Do you know what caring entails? Do you have a loving family? They care about you. Do you have a significant other that you share your life with and go through good and bad and everything? They care about you. Who is dumb enough and bamboozled enough to believe that some Washington bureaucrat cares about you? And the Democrats, they are so, like, this is a big part of their selling point. We need the people to think we care. I don't care if Trump cares about me. I want Trump to care about America. I want him to care about his legacy as president. Because if he cares about that, then he'll do good for the country. On an individual basis or a group, he doesn't care about black people. He doesn't care about the LGBTQ community. Again, who cares? Is he setting the table for Americans to utilize the amazing country we have at our disposal to become successful, to live lives that we want to live and be happy and prosperous, if that's part of what we want to be? That's what I want. That's what I want him to care about. You hear these idiots talking about politicians not caring about you. And then you hear these idiot politicians talking like they're going to come to your house and give you a little hug because they care. Ugh, they don't. Anyway, so here's Stern trying to, and again, this is the dumbest, lamest, most obvious ham-handed attempt to undermine Trump's popularity with his supporters by trying to tell the supporters that he doesn't care. Here's Howie.
In all of this is the people Trump despises most love him the most. Go look at Mar-a-Lago, see if there's any people that look like you. I'm talking to you in the audience. The Trump voter who, idolizes the guy. He despises you. I don't hate Donald. Donald's doing his thing. I hate you for voting for him, for not having an intelligence, for not able to see what's going on with the coronavirus.
There's an old
not able to see what the Justice Department is doing. I hate you. I don't want you here.
I don't want you here. I hate you. This is what they do. This is how they try to undermine. Like, Trump is doing exactly what he campaigned on. And his supporters see that. And believe me, there are things I would love to see them done differently. I would love to see things done better. I would love to see some things not done at all. But he's, for the most part, coming through with his campaign promises on a lot of things and very important things. So for Stern to say things like he doesn't like you, go to Mar-a-Lago and look around. If I go to the Hamptons and look around, will I see people like you and Jimmy Kimmel and Jennifer Aniston? Are they like me, Howard? Do they care about me? Or do they despise me? I'll tell you one thing. I'll feel despised because I'll get thrown right out of there. I won't be able to get within 50 yards of the latest establishment that's letting all of your Hollywood buddies in the Hamptons. Do they like me? Can I go and visit? Go look at Mar-a-Lago? How about look at the Hamptons? I won't even be able to look. I could never get close enough to you or Kimmel or Aniston or any of the other collection of liberal Hollywood jackasses. So the tactic falls very short, Howard. He doesn't like you. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't care about you. No. Ain't that a shame? I don't care. I don't care about politicians that profess to care about me. You know who does this a lot? Liz Warren. Liz Warren does this all the time. She professes to care about people. I think I got a clip of her here. Yeah, she's commenting on Trump using the Justice Department for revenge. We have so much Letitia James stuff coming up in the show. But this clip is Liz Warren, and she's talking about Trump using the Justice Department for revenge. And she's one that is always saying how much she cares about you. Here's... Oh, you don't see Liz Warren comment on Trump using... Aw, all right. Yeah, it was a fun one. Maybe it was boink. Let me see if it was a tweet. Sometimes I get confused between the tweets and the audio. All right, I'm looking through my thingy-do. Letitia, Rosie. We got some Rosie clips. And no, I guess it was a. Oh, damn it! I always do that. I always get one in there that wasn't an actual sound clip. Here's the one I was looking for. Let me see. There it is. It's a tweet. Liz Warren, the president of the United States is openly seeking revenge on his political opponents. First James Comey, now Tish James. Anyone who seeks to hold Donald Trump accountable could be next. Trump is ripping a page right out of the authoritarian handbook. She is so, she's not even good at this. Like, some of them are pretty good at BSing. They kind of put their own spin on the memos that they're all handed. Oh, what are we working on today? Oh, we got the memo, and we're supposed to accuse Trump of being authoritarian and going after his political opponents. Oh, okay. You mind if I spice it up a little bit, punch it up? I'll call in some writers. Liz Warren just reads it verbatim. She is terrible at this. She was probably good at the political thing before Trump because no one had any expectations. If you recall, as a matter of fact, I think in 2016, at one point, she was the candidate that was ahead in the primaries, in the Democrat primaries in 2016 for that election. People were like, well, it looks like Liz is doing really good in the primary. She could be the ticket. And now you realize how insane that would be, even with the likes of Kamala Harris that we had last time. But and I think it was because it was 2016 and people were still biting. They were still biting that nonsense that these politicians were who they say they are and the lies the media tells about them. And we didn't really grasp their inability to speak to the public and the fact that everything they say is written by some insider or an intern or one of their aides or staffers. So she really went out of fashion pretty quickly after the 2016 election. But yeah, let's dive into the Letitia James stuff after this break. Back in a flash. You know, every Wednesday I do a segment. It's whipping out free speech. That's what I'm doing, whipping it out, some free speech. And we want to do a Q&A thing. It's about 15 minutes long. I'll get on and read some of your questions and address them on that segment. If you look, I guess the latest one is a little rant on Columbus Day. And that one's up there on the 77 WABC YouTube channel. So, yeah, leave some questions in the comments, and we'll get to those, and we'll see if they're good enough. We'll talk about them on that segment. All right? Do you understand? I sure hope so. What the hell do I... Oh, yeah, I wanted to get to the Letitia James stuff. God, there's so much Letitia. Maybe I should wait for the third hour here, because I did also want to talk about this transgender men in sports. It's such an issue, and it shouldn't be. It just should not be an issue. Any rational person should look at this and go, oh, yeah, it would be insane to think that a man should participate in the same sport as a girl competitively, and they can be hurt. It's not ethical. They should not be in the locker rooms. They should not be manhandling girls in certain sports. And there's a situation where this girl is 15 years old, and she's a basketball player, and she spoke up. She's one of them that actually speaks up and says, I don't want to play against an 18-year-old man. This is high school. They wanted to put an 18-year-old man against these 15, 16-year-old girls. And like I said, that's just insane. And she talked about it. She was on a news show with her mom. And what happens? She gets in trouble. She might have been insensitive just by saying, I don't want to do this. Here's the clip. Let's listen to her mom's take and her take on this situation.
We realized there was a boy on the team, and let me just say, this person is 18 years old, so he's a grown man at this point that was playing on a JV basketball game with 14 and 15-year-olds. So I went up and I talked to the athletic director, and I said, can you tell me if that's a boy on the team? And he said, I'm not going to, say we do not discriminate based on sexual identity. And I said, well, President Trump just yesterday signed an executive order saying there's no boys or men in women's or girls' sports. And he said, we do not have to follow that. We follow Washington state law and WIAA. So once that happened and I realized that Frances was sitting out, it wasn't until towards the end of the game when there was a lot that went on between the time that we realized there was this boy on the team. And when she was leaving, she was so mad. She felt like she had been exposed, and it was just a terrible situation. She walked by and said that you're a man. She was so frustrated in the situation. And that is why she has been now charged with bullying, harassment, and intimidation for misgendering this person.
Can you even imagine? You're the mother, the father of this 15-year-old girl that wants to play basketball. They put a man on the team. There's a man on the team. And you don't want to play. You do not want to play with a man on the team. And when the man walks by you, you say, you're a man. And that was enough. You are now a horrible, transphobic criminal. That's how this is still working. Oh, we've seen a lot of things change over the course of a very short period of time as far as a lot of this woke nonsense is going. And we're seeing a lot of it in the rearview mirror. People are going, oh, right, yeah, I remember that. That was then. This is now. We're not doing that anymore. And it's great. It's refreshing. But a lot of this trans stuff, it's still there. It's still there. It's so embedded that it's very difficult to weed out. The administrators in these schools, they're a bunch of, they're just indoctrinating the kids. They're full of all this left-wing nonsense that they're trying to feed these kids, give them that push into college where they'll learn even more left-wing garbage. How about that? So this little girl, she says, nope, not playing with that man, and then says, you're a man. She's upset about the whole thing. She knows what's truth. That is a man. And she says it. And harassment, bullying. Now she's got to deal with that. For what? The harassment and bullying is putting a man on a girl's basketball team. Having a man walk into the locker room of these young women that are in middle school or high school. It's beyond insane how this even has to be discussed, how this can't be wiped out and just a no-go, no, this isn't happening right now. We are signing something, doing something, saying something, whatever it needs, whatever it need be, that this just is not happening anymore. But like I said, its tentacles are already wrapped around every aspect of our American way of life as far as this goes. And we know this also because we got this Congressman, Sarah McBride, Congress-Tran, I'm trying. Sarah McBride. And this was a little speech that Sarah gave. Sarah is, of course, a transgender woman, a man. And, yeah, here you go. Listen to this.
We will not take a lecture on decorum from a party that incited an insurrection.
Insurrection.
I appear to live rent-free in the minds of some of my Republican colleagues.
In the nightmares.
I wish that they would spend even a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, thinking about how to lower the costs for American families.
How to lower the costs.
I wish they would spend a fraction of the time that they spend thinking about me, figuring out how to make government actually work better, rather than making it work worse in order to prove that government can't work. They are obsessed with culture war issues. The Republican Party is obsessed with culture war issues. It is weird and it is bizarre. And the American people deserve serious legislators, serious elected officials who are focused on bringing people together to deliver real results for the American people, not to play games and not to engage in schoolyard taunts.
Yeah. Did she call Republicans weird and bizarre? Have you looked at Sarah McBride? You want to talk weird and bizarre. And if you're going to be wishing, I wish that if you got some wishes, how about wish you were a woman? It's obviously what you want, and you can't attain that by any earthly means. So you should just don't waste your wishes on a government that works more for the American people. Use that wish for a woman's body. Be a woman, right? I'm just being sensible. Sarah McBride.
Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
Letitia has been indicted for mortgage fraud. Little mortgage fraud for you. Nothing wrong with that, right? And everyone is coming to her aid. Everyone has Letitia's back. They're all saying this is part of Trump's plan to use the judicial system as his own personal execution squad. He wants to go after his enemies. Well, why are they his enemies? Because they brought false charges against him? That seems like a what it was. I think when we all look at what he was arrested for and tried for, it had never been done. This was a non-crime, and yet they found 34 felonies on Donald Trump. And then you get James Comey, who apparently, allegedly, had committed perjury. He had a guy as his, the person that would leak the information that James Comey gave him. James Comey needs info leaked. He's just going to go, all right, I'll give it to this guy. He'll leak it. These are crimes. These are real crimes. And he's been indicted. And then Tish James has all kinds of mortgage fraud issues that she's been indicted for. And they just can't fathom that she might have done this. It's impossible, actually. Even though there's evidence of it, there's paperwork, there's documentation. You can't just make something up. And Donald Trump goes, oh, go after her. For what? Mortgage fraud. Well, she didn't commit it. I don't care. Make something up. Write up some counterfeit papers. No, the paperwork's there. She did something that doesn't seem on the up and up as far as a few of her mortgages go. And Trump said, you know, that's what happens in the real world. You make enemies. You try to get your enemies put in prison. They don't go to prison. They become the president. What do you think? You're just going to be able to sit back? And it doesn't mean they're making stuff up, that they're utilizing the judicial system to go after their enemies. What it means is, I sure hope you're squeaky clean, because if there are any crimes that you've committed, you're going to pay for them. Now, if she had never committed a crime, what a great situation to be in. Tish could have just gone, give me your best. I've never done anything inappropriate with mortgages, with my time in office, with this, that, nothing. And then you got to, you're looking, damn it. But she did. There is evidence that she has done some shady dealings with her mortgages, and we'll see. She is indicted when it goes to court. Is that using the judicial system against your enemies? They tried to put the number one polling candidate for president in prison because they did not want to run against Donald Trump because they knew that Biden or Harris could never win. Could never win. So they tried to put him in prison, discredit him, take his money, make him broke, fines that were astronomical that had nothing to do. There is no precedent for the amount of fines that they levied against Donald Trump for the supposed crimes he had committed. So they were using the judicial system against a political enemy, one that was going to be president, unless they did something to stop that. And that's what they were trying to do. So to hear any of this about him using the system against his enemies is pure nonsense. Let's see. We'll take a call. Oh, we got the little continue button on the calls. I don't know if I could take a call like that. Boop, boop, boo. Here is, yeah. Uh-oh, Sandra. Maybe click down Sandra's call. A few technical issues here. Yeah, the remote desktop needs continue to be hit so I can hit the... No? Can we talk to Sandra? She might be passed out before we get to it. There she is. How you doing, Sandra?
I'm not passed out. I'm laughing. It's so funny. I'm doing okay. When you were talking about Mark Ruffalo earlier, I used to be crazy. I used to be crazy about him. And then my eyes opened and I said, oh, my God, how did I ever like him? And then now he's even more repulsive. He's not even cute anymore. But I think you're right what you said. He should share his wealth with all the other ones. And you know what I was even thinking, Anthony? If you wrote him a letter, he might very well know you. You could even say a little suggestion, you stand for this. Why don't you do it also with your colleagues?
Yeah. There are so many great actors and actresses that just can't book a gig and make any money. And they're all part of his little circle. And he's been working for many years under this terrible capitalism, which only rewards the person. So he wants socialism. Let him start by doling out some of his cash. He makes money for a movie. Share the wealth with all the actors and actresses that aren't getting Marvel action movies. Yeah.
I love that.
Good.
I love that idea. And then I wanted to say one other thing on Mandani. I learned today they found $13,000 that he took for his campaigns illegally from other countries. So that might do something. I don't know what, but
they always come up with that. That isn't going to hurt him, though. That's not going to hurt him. This guy, all signs point to Mamdani being the mayor of New York City in November. So, I don't know what to say. I've pitched for Curtis many, many times. I love Curtis. I think he'd make a great New York City mayor. But there are way more idiots in this country than I ever thought. And New York seems to be a bastion of idiots, the city. All right, Sandra, thank you so much for your phone call. And, we'll continue with this Leticia stuff. Leticia. This one is MSNBC. Yeah, there you go. MSNBC, I think it was anyway. Maybe CNN. CNN was talking about the Letitia James indictment on mortgage fraud, and they seem to think, hey, everyone does it. For some reason, when Trump was indicted and on trial for falsifying the worth of Mar-a-Lago in order to get a loan, a bigger loan than he would have been able to get. And then we find out anyway that Mar-a-Lago was way undervalued in the books that the media was looking up. Way undervalued. And Trump paid the mortgage. He paid the interest. The bank had no problem with that deal. But they were like, nope, no one is above the law. Everyone has to be run through the system if they commit crimes. And now with this, CNN seems to be of the school of thought that, well, come on, everyone fudges a little number or two. Here's CNN on the Letitia James indictment.
Aside for a second, what Tish James, and again, we're still getting the details, but if it's related to this mortgage issue, I mean, this is something that everyone in America, or many people at least, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy a house in America, you deal with this, right? The federal government doesn't go after all of these people for doing this. Does that?
Oh, they don't go after these people. Oh, they go after Donald Trump. They go after him, by the way, when he was a private citizen. That's when this all went down. This wasn't something like we're going to bring the president up on charges where you might have an excuse going, well, he must be held to a higher standard. Your average American might perpetrate some of this mortgage fraud. And we just look at it like, well, everyone does it. But he's the president. He wasn't. They were trying to prevent him from being the president again. And that's the only reason they went through with this. This was absolutely politically motivated. Trying to get a political opponent imprisoned any way they could. And Letitia James was same thing. Why should she get off the hook? Why shouldn't she be held to the same standard private citizen Donald Trump was held to? Oh, well, everyone does it. Of course, CNN. Of course. Have they ever said anything that actually made sense? Has CNN ever reported a story that wasn't so twisted, biased? It's all they know how to do. And they're still there. And anytime Trump says something about him, they cry, free speech, First Amendment, freedom of the press. Because he jokes. He goes, hey, we should shut you down. Oh, threatening the free press. You're not the free press. You're a propaganda tool of the left. That's it. No one is actually getting informed from CNN. No one's getting news from CNN. You're lying for political purposes. We got more Tish stuff here. Here's her. Here's Letitia James herself commenting on her indictment for mortgage fraud. She sounds very stoic. She's not as excited.
A continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding. All because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General.
Yes.
These charges are baseless. And the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties.
No.
His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence.
Kangaroo
not
court.
Politics.
All politics.
Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud.
Ugh.
I'm a proud woman of faith.
Shut up.
And I know
You're
that
disgusting.
faith and fear cannot share the same space.
Here she
So
goes.
today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless.
I'm not fearful.
And as my faith teaches
fearless.
me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Oh,
We will
God.
fight these baseless charges aggressively. And my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights.
By letting
And I will
people out with
continue
no
to do my
bail?
job.
Yeah, real protection. Oh, do you hear the way she's speaking? And the justice. Oh, what a charade. What an act. What a maroon. God, I hate stuff like this. Oh, it's holier than thou. What she did. Oh, the investigation. And, oh, we got to get Trump on fraud and his sons. And trying to destroy a whole family for their political gain. That's it. And now what happened? It's on you. Now you're up and indicted for mortgage fraud. Which is, again, I think it's ridiculous. Of course it is. And I do believe that people do this all the time and no one ever says anything about it. Of course. But when they use it for their devices so they can try to eliminate the candidate for president of the United States that is polling higher than any of them. This isn't a third-rate, an actor is running for president kind of a gag thing. Donald Trump was ahead in the polls, and they needed some way to get rid of him. They said it. James Comey said it. By any means necessary. He will never be president again by any means necessary. And that's what we saw in that trial. Damn, if they didn't absolutely believe they were putting him in prison. It's the way it worked out. And then right at the end, there was a mix-up. They couldn't put him in jail. He got the nomination to be president. So then you get things like Butler, Pennsylvania, where someone takes a pot shot at him. All coincidence, people. Stop, please. If there's one thing I've learned, nothing is ever going to be 100%. You're not going to be able to look at something, especially in government, that's like, well, there it is, 100%. There's the smoking gun. There's the person holding it. There's this. But you got to wake up a little bit. Don't be gullible and believe everything. Don't believe some of these convoluted conspiracies. But when something so blatantly obvious is staring you in the face, like the Democrats were trying everything in their power to prevent Donald Trump from being on that Republican ticket as for president. If you don't see that, and then the charges, he gets convicted, and they're ready to put him in prison. They're ready to sentence him. Remember, the sentencing was coming up? And then it's like, oh, he's got the Republican nod. He's now the candidate. We can't sentence him. Well, let's try to pop him in the head. Get someone up on a roof. Get the Secret Service and the local law enforcement to be so incompetent that a kid we still don't know anything about him is able to get up on a rooftop and take a shot at him. And I'm just supposed to think this is a coincidence after coincidence. Come on, people. Let's think. Let's really think about this. And then you got Letitia James after all this, and James Comey, and God knows who else. I hope to hell to see Adam Schiff in this. And there's plenty of others. But if you think for a second this wasn't all planned out, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And now Trump is trying to get retribution? Yeah. Yes, he is. Is he doing anything illegal to get that retribution? Nope. If she committed some type of mortgage fraud and this is the best way to go after her, do it. Do it. Is it unconstitutional? No. Did he make it up? Nope. Is she his enemy? Yup. Would he love to see her convicted? Yup. Doesn't mean it's the wrong thing. Oh, sorry. What do you want? This virtuous Abraham Lincoln? Even though my enemy tried to put me in prison, I will only offer the best of goodwill to my... Get out of here. Clam up. I want to see her go down. All right, back in seconds with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Talking about Tish James, her indictment, the lies about Trump using the judicial system, or really the lies about him using it inappropriately or illegally. I don't know. Maybe he could have not indicted Tish James. Maybe. It doesn't mean that since he did, he's doing anything out of the realm of the judicial system's power, the Justice Department. I mean, technically, he didn't even suggest anything. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he went over and said, oh, nail her to the wall. With what? There's mortgage fraud. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to make up something really, really bad, like murder or something. No. Just get her on what she actually did. Yeah, I hope that's televised. I hope that trial's televised. Mamdani, New York's own socialist communist mayor, in November he'll be elected mayor, and that's going to be it. That's going to be your mayor, New York. Zoran Mamdani. He got a bunch of people together to support Tish James. And this is, I don't know if I've spoken about it here before, but the chanting, the lefties, the Democrats, the liberals, the brain dead, they love chanting. I can't imagine people I know, conservatives, Republicans, chanting anything, having one person saying something, and then you're in a group of people just mindlessly repeating it like a puppet. You're just repeating it, and then you look at each other like, we're great, right? We're doing something. We're changing the course of history. I would have to smack my buddy in the face and then myself for being there. This is so it's not individual thought. And that's the problem with the left. They don't have individual thought, the ability to assess something with their own mind and act accordingly. They need to be in a group, in this big group of people. And then they see a leader and they chant and they follow and they bang a drum. It's all so cult-like. So here's Mamdani chanting to Tish James supporters in New York.
There is nothing. Because there is nothing. Illegal. Or radical. To believe. That no one.
The drum.
Is above the law. So we thank you, Tish. We have your back. And we say to Donald Trump that if you want to get to the Attorney General, you are going to have to get through every single one of us.
Really? Wouldn't it be great to just put a bunch of like 3 sentences at a time and see who remembers? By the end, it's just like, blah, 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 blah. They don't know what they're saying. And we think, that, we should. 1, 2 words at a time for these idiots. They have no retention. They can't retain anything they're told. That's why when you walk up to them and say, what does your sign mean? What are you protesting? What did Trump do that you say he's a racist or this? That's why they never have anything. They have this complete inability to retain anything they've heard, or they just need to for that second. And I think they carry the signs so every couple of minutes they could turn it around and remember what they're doing out of their house on the street that day. What am I doing? Oh, Trump is transphobe. All right, Trump is a transphobe. Trump is a transphobe. Trump, what was? Oh, transphobe. Trump is a They got to keep looking at their own sign. This is the definition of weak-minded people. All of them need to be part of this larger organism. They're all little cells in a larger organism working for the organism. And the organism is just the guy yelling through the bullhorn or the cause du jour that a politician is putting out there. And they'll just be there to be part of the useful idiot or the part of the machine, a cog, to chant along. How embarrassing is that? How embarrassing is it to stand there and just chant along with some idiot you don't know? He's got the bullhorn. And by the way, you've seen the videos also where the bullhorn, someone else will come up and go, hey, could I have that? And then they start yelling through the bullhorn. And now they're the guy. And the weak-minded imbeciles will just repeat what he says. with as much vim, vigor, and passion as the last dope that was holding the bullhorn. That's how they... It really is embarrassing. I don't know how parents put up with having kids that are so easily manipulated. All right, back in moments. Don't go anywhere.
Well, hi. I was listening to you from the first minute, of course, that you got on. I had a front row seat. You were speaking about that you were supposed to go to Detroit to do a performance, and that was abandoned, okay, for whatever reasons. But you know what? In my youth, I lived outside in the suburbs.
Was that before Henry Ford with the assembly line? Was that just before that or a little after, Susan?
Just a little after. My dad worked in the auto industry, and so in the 2014 and on, tens of thousands of homes were demolished in Detroit.
Yes.
Because their mortgages were underwater, which the great John Catsimatidis explains can happen in New York City because when people's home values go down below what their mortgages are.
And underwater. We remember, I saw a movie and they talked about subprime loans and people getting mortgages that they couldn't afford, and then the interest rates went up. I remember seeing that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so surreal for me because I'm a baby boomer, and most people don't even know that this has actually happened. And then when I hear John Catsimatidis, who I have great respect for in any kind of, financial...
Respect for him, you shouldn't slur his last name like that.
John Catsimatidis.
That's better. John Catsimatidis.
Well, sweetheart,
anyways, no, you're fine, Susan. I would, it's Sunday night. A little nightcap. There's no problem with that. A little nip before bedtime. No problem, Susan. No problem with that at all. Continue.
No, but just that, you were speaking about you were going to go to Detroit, and now, it's just like kind of crazy for me through these decades, and then you feel like, rightly so, that maybe it's not a good idea to go and do these kinds of performances in this, very terroristic atmosphere. And I'm glad you didn't, darling. But
what was it like when Ferdinand got shot, and that sparked up a whole big war?
Who?
Ferdinand?
No? Then maybe it was either before or after my time, or
maybe a little bit.
I was in college then, and I wasn't paying attention to such things.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, I just want to say people should Google what can happen under very extreme situations. Like what happened in Detroit is almost it is a little different.
They really destroyed Detroit.
Mortgages go underwater, and crime is on the rampant. People just get the hell out. And then there's all these abandoned buildings that have the squatters. And
Susan's on a tear over here.
No, I'm not a tear.
Scotch makes you a little nasty, right?
No,
I'm seeing that.
I would never drink that.
No scotch? All right.
Oh, my God. I would never drink that.
Yeah. Susan, I got to let you go, but thank you so much for your call. We always appreciate the great Susan. Somewhere in upstate New York. I don't know where that is. We do have, I had so much of this Tish stuff, and she annoys me so much that I don't even want to go through all of it. One more. This is her when she was yelling about how she was going to go after Trump. Let's not forget when she was trying to run for her spot again, and she's backing other candidates, Democrats, and Donald Trump was looking to start his second presidency or campaigning for it. Tish James said, I'm going after Donald Trump. This is what she ran on. This is what she said. Here's what I'll do. Put me in, coach, and I will find anything. And this was before anyone had any crime or mortgage stuff or a jaywalking ticket on Donald Trump. But she promised she'll find something, and that isn't what your attorneys general do. They're supposed to step in after a crime is found and an indictment has been handed down, and now it's their job to proceed and try a case. But she's like, I'll get something. That isn't how that works. That's targeting your political enemies. So here she is yelling about it.
My mission is clear.
Nah!
I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University.
Oh, boy.
That overturned legal segregation in this country.
Of course.
I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump,
Afraid
we're
of
ready
no
for
president?
you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Oh. Shut up. I ain't afraid of no president. Don't you love that? I mean, you heard her. We played a clip earlier about her just commenting on the indictment. I believe this indictment was brought forth in a way where Donald Trump, President Trump, is trying to... And they're like, I ain't scared of no president. It's called idiot speak. You're practicing idiot speak. You're trying to appeal to the people in front of you, who, by the way, you must have a really crappy take on who those people are. I could stand up here and articulate what I want to say in an intelligent manner, and we just heard her. We just heard the clip of her commenting on the indictment. She wasn't ghettoing it up. You know, I didn't agree with what she was saying, but she didn't sound like a hood rat saying it. But then they get in front of these groups, like speaking of Howard University or the, I believe that was the National Action Network, whatever Reverend Al Sharpton's thing is. And they go up there and they have to put on an act. They put on an act where they have to sound like idiots. They have to mispronounce words and throw grammar out the window because they know that will appeal to the people they're standing in front of behind that podium. And they're looking at those people like they are idiots. I need to ghetto this up. I can't sound smart. I can't sound educated. They'll think I'm, one of these, what do they call that? I was going to say house something, but no. You know what I mean. They don't want to sound educated, like they're beholden to the white man. So they sound like idiots. It is so racist. Like, don't talk about racism unless you're going to bring that up. Hey, how about these black leaders that are educated, that get up in front of people and speak very articulately and they get their point across, they speak proper English, and then they go in front of a bunch of black people and they have to dummy themselves up. Don't you think that's racist? Like, isn't that racism? You're changing the way you speak. You're dumbing down the way you speak to appeal to a group of people that you must think are much dumber than you. That's racism. That's racism. Not quoting crime stats that everyone could look up. Not saying I don't want to go down into a New York City subway at 2:30 in the morning because I know what could possibly happen, and it's not good. That isn't racist. Racism is putting on your dummy voice. Your dummy voice when you're talking to people of color because you know damn well you can't sound educated in front of them. Holy moly. That is racism, my friends. Hardcore. Hardcore racism. And the yelling, you know. She got to do, you know, the Martin Luther King thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Is it the Martin Luther King? Did he start that whole thing with the yelling kind of, ah! I got to tell you, Soma, I think it's called. Soma. It's the newest AI company that's out. It's the one that's making waves right now. The speed at which artificial intelligence companies are improving themselves is astounding and frightening. Very frightening in a way. They're at the point now, if you remember a couple of years ago, they used to play a video, and it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air eating spaghetti. And it was so scary because it was so twisted, weird, and an arm would morph into the head, and that was as good as it was. And that was, relatively speaking, not long ago. They have gotten to the point now where they are putting videos out, AI videos up on social media, where, you know, I consider myself pretty savvy as far as this stuff goes. And I am getting confused. I really have to look at stuff and go, I'm not sure. The watermarks that say Sona AI are really the only things keeping you from thinking they're real. And they're putting historical things on there. JFK and Martin Luther King. It looks exactly like the old films. And they're saying things that are hilariously inappropriate and bad and nasty, racist and sexist and horrible things. But it's getting better and better and better. And that can only mean that trouble is around the corner. We could always kind of tell. You put a video out there and it was like, oh yeah, that's fake. That's AI. That's, you know, they used to call them deep fakes before it was AI doing it. You actually had to work a program and know how to superimpose faces onto things and adjust color and lighting. Now AI does everything, and it is astounding looking. And we are maybe a year, maybe two at most, away from completely not being able to recognize reality from artificial intelligence as far as videos go. So, yeah, the Martin Luther King ones are pretty funny. And the JFK ones, of course, he's just a piece of crap, a piece of garbage womanizer. All right, back in a couple of seconds. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Yes, Dylan Mulvaney, the man dressed as a woman who kind of brought down the Bud Light empire. I guess Dylan thinks it's fine to dress like Jesus. This dummy went through all this trouble, all the surgery, hormones, all the garbage that is needed for a man to really make believe he's a woman. And then just dresses up like a man all the time. Like, women would do that. Like, look, I'm just like a man. Isn't that funny because I'm a woman? But if you're a man dressed like a woman, dressed like a man, now you're just psychopathic. Now you're just insanely mental. And that's what Dylan Mulvaney is doing. I guess there's a play, Least Problematic Woman in the World. Yeah, rolls right off your tongue. Another one of these just, who wants to see this? This would be hell. This would be, oh my God, I've sinned. I'm a terrible person. I've committed, mortal sins. And then you die and you find yourself front and center in a theater playing least problematic woman in the world, starring Dylan Mulvaney for all eternity. No bathroom breaks. You can't go to the bar during intermission and you got to sit in that seat front and center, surrounded by the most flamboyant, loud, gay people. And you watch show after show after show on a never-ending eternal loop of Dylan Mulvaney's least problematic woman in the world. That is truly hell. So Dylan thought thought he would go on social media dressed as Jesus Christ, and promote this show, this debaucherous, horrible show, dressed as Jesus. And I'm watching it going like, well, whatever, as a Christian, a Catholic, you kind of expect things like this. You know that we're very forgiving. We don't get violent when our religion is made fun of, and when symbolism and icons of our religion are used in such a way. We just don't, for the most part. Look, I'm not speaking for everyone here. More so than Islam or even Judaism. You're talking Christians, Catholics are pretty much from that turn the other cheek school of thought. So this disaster, this monster, is sitting there thinking, all right, what do I do? How do I promote my show? I'll dress as Allah. I'll dress as Muhammad. And then I'll say, Allah says you should go and see this play. Oh, Dylan? Yeah, they'll murder you. They will murder you. They'll murder you anyway. Just walk up and say hi as Dylan Mulvaney to a Muslim, and especially in a Muslim country. And you're probably going to be dealing with some pain. But, Jesus, you could just mock Jesus. That's what people do all the time, and it seems to be fine. And there was the video. I'm like, oh, God, get out of here. Why do they feel compelled to just mock Christianity constantly? Anyway, I saw that. Had to comment on it. Kamala Harris. Oh, our dear, dear Kamala Harris. She's on a book tour, going around, and the irony is that anyone who likes Kamala enough to buy her book probably can't read it. Is that irony or paradox? Maybe a little both. So Kamala, getting on all the big shows, getting on the big, high-rated shows to sell this book, was speaking on a microphone with Don Lemon. Don Lemon, of course, has his own podcast. He got the boot, from, where was he? CNN? Got the boot, and he grabbed a microphone and decided he will now be a podcaster. And he goes out and interviews people on the street, and now here he is with Kamala Harris, and they're talking about Donald Trump and things. But what you'll notice here is that since the election, Kamala has gotten no better at speaking. The word salad babble is very prominent here. Give it a listen.
You told us, not that you tried to tell us, you told us that he was going to turn, the police or the military on citizens.
I predicted almost all of it. There's a No King's Day march happening about a week from today. I think people are going to come out in big numbers, multi-generational, coming out to say that we know that we deserve better and we want more of our government than the weaponization of the rule of law. We want more than the corruption, the callousness, and frankly the incompetence we're seeing come out of the White House.
Yeah. Well, Madam Vice President, let me just tell you, I'm so happy with what you're doing. I'm so proud of you, and this is the energy. I hope you know this is the energy that people love. Everyone says, I don't want to be disrespectful. This is the Kamala that we want. You're hearing that, and I'm sure you're feeling it.
It's good. Look, I love our people, all of our people, in every shape, size and form, every color, every region.
Yeah.
Now is the time for the people to remember
MAGA?
their power.
And thank you for respecting and being so welcoming to independent media and journalists and streamers.
Of course. I think you're where it's at.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're where it's at.
You're where it's at, man. Groovy. You're where it's at. Oh, God. I love everybody. No, you don't. It's impossible. It's impossible. You're blatantly lying again. No one has the capacity to love everyone. Jesus, not Dylan Mulvaney Jesus, Jesus. There you go. There's someone with the capacity to love. Kamala Harris, do you think she loves someone with a MAGA hat calling her the C word and every other horrible slur and everything? And she goes, I love you because I love everybody. They're liars. She is terrible. And like, thanks for supporting independent media. I got fired and this is all I got, a microphone, a website. All right, coming back in seconds. Don't go anywhere. The Democrats have, they have a bevy of fantastic candidates, don't they? We've seen them on various news shows. And there's a favorite right now. I know you know who I'm talking about. Of course, Katie Porter. Katie Porter is running for governor of the great state of California. And, any other state, I would have said this woman's chance of winning this election is in the toilet. Zero. No way. But it's California, and every misstep, every mistake, every obnoxious thing she blurts out is a plus, as I see it, for the state of California. They're all morons over there. They see a candidate like Katie Porter, and they're like, oh, look, she's outspoken. She doesn't take any guff. Meanwhile, the rest of the country looks at her and goes, well, they say a word. I'm not going to say it here. I'm not even going to say the first letter of that word here. But I will say it is a word that if you say it during an argument with your significant other, your wife or your girlfriend, the original argument disappears. And there's a brand new, worse argument about the word you just called her. I could tell you this by experience. So, she is an idiot. And she is just nasty. Nasty. Out of all the clips so far, I've seen the one where she's doing a Zoom call and a staffer, some young intern staffer, is behind her, but way in another room behind her. No one would have really noticed unless she said something. And she starts yelling, get the F out of my shot. You don't get into my shot. And it gets out. Maybe if you had power to cut the clip and destroy any evidence that you acted like a monster, you would say that. But all these clips of her acting horribly, they just get out for everyone's listening pleasure. So here she is. She was doing an interview, and, they're all used to these amazingly softball, light interviews with questions that they already know the answers to. And the second it went off track, it wasn't even bad. The reporter was not even questioning her in a confrontational way. She lost her mind. Let's give it a listen.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list.
You're running for governor. You want
you're going to
pleasant,
make up
positive?
a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from
a leader
reporters?
who runs.
Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience.
Don't
with
want
you
it on
either.
camera.
I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting, it's a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
Isn't that fantastic? She just cannot deal with another woman sitting across from her, a reporter, and it's too much for her. She wants to be the governor of California. I would argue that the California governor has the most eyes on them out of the governor of any other state in the U.S. California. It's had its share of celebrity governors. It's such a big part of the news that happens in the country. What happened in California? What is the governor saying about it? If you have a thin skin, I mean, even Gavin Newsom isn't cut out to be governor of California. He's proven himself to be very thin-skinned. He can't take criticism. This woman can't even sit down with a reporter that is asking her questions that probably weren't on her little worksheet. Yeah, we need Miss Porter needs your questions in advance. Yeah, no, we do this all the time. We won't do an interview without the advanced questions. And then when the reporter asks her a follow-up to one of those questions, now it's, what? Who are you to? Well, that right there proved she is not cut out to be governor of California. But like New York City will elect Mamdani as mayor, I wouldn't put it past California to elect this woman as governor of their state because, again, it's just the stupidity. You see a candidate that will be so toxic to your city or your state, and you cannot run to the polling place fast enough to pull the lever for that candidate. I will never understand it, but that's what we say, and that's what this woman is. She just couldn't deal with it. My other take on it is the reporter was a pretty blonde reporter, you know, blonde hair, good body on her. For her age, she's doing very well. You know, she's still holding up. But she knew, Katie Porter knew looking at her, that in high school and in college, this was the girl she hated. This reporter back then was beautiful, and the guys would drool over her. They would talk to Katie about this other girl while Katie couldn't get a date if she tried. Kind of, you know, fat, homely. She got personality like, you know, if she was anything like this back then, no, a blind man wouldn't go out with her. So she sees this beautiful blonde reporter, and she don't want to, you know, she wants to win this. She wants to win against her. Oh, yeah, what you did in high school, what you did to me in college, the hell you put me through. I'm the gubernatorial candidate now. You're the reporter sitting there. I'm going to show you who's boss. And then, I don't want to do this. She just like, I want to go home. I'm not having fun at your party. Daddy, pick me up. She was right back in the basement of the girl's house at the party. They're all playing spin the bottle. The bottle landed on her. All the guys laughed, broke the bottle, ran away. I want to go home. That is your gubernatorial candidate for California there, Katie Porter. Enjoy. It's terrible. Look, I think we all do really still hold on to some of that stuff. And at first, when I saw this interview, I thought, oh, yeah, she's just the B word. But then looking at the dynamic between the two, that blonde reporter was every girl that had wronged Katie Porter for her entire life. Every guy Katie Porter looked at and wrote his name in her notebook, put it in a heart, you know, the cute guy, and then plus N Katie Porter in the heart. And that reporter was the one walking down the hall hand in hand, kissing at the locker, and the seething anger from Katie Porter. She never got over it. So when she's sitting across from her, being interviewed, and it's not going exactly the way Katie Porter had imagined, she was back at the party. She was back in the high school hallways. This cute blonde girl was screwing up her entire existence again. I want to go. You're ruining the party. That's it. That's what happens. Let's see. Another beauty we can go to. Rosie O'Donnell. She pops up all the time because she just can't stay in Ireland. Go to Ireland. Go into your little shire house with the round door. Just go in there like a hobbit and live out the rest of your life. It's going to be great. You're not in America. Trump doesn't have any hold over you anymore. You're living large, quite literally. But she just cannot stop talking about Donald Trump. And here she is, again, the basic, he's a terrorist, he's a tyrant, he blah, blah, blah. Here's a Rosie on Trump.
I've been reading a lot about what's racist behavior, horrible domestic terrorism. It's unbelievable. Going into a city that doesn't need any help.
Chicago
Democratic
doesn't need
cities
help.
only, you notice, even though the poorest cities are the Republican ones.
No, they're not.
I don't know. It's like, it's so ridiculous and it's so fractured. And I just hope we can get rid of him as soon as possible, because what damage he's doing will not be really fixed for decades. Decades, ladies and gentlemen. Really.
What do you know? What do you even know? You don't think the damage Joe Biden did by flinging the door, and by Joe Biden, I mean whoever was running Joe Biden. I just don't like going through the whole thing every time. Yeah, Joe Biden flinging the country's borders open to everything and anything that wanted to cross in. So now Trump has to use so much energy and resources to even get close to where we were before Biden got in. He's throwing people out at probably as quickly as they can without really getting the courts after him and, you know, people, oh, they're locking up 6-year-olds. Nothing about that. Trump is a domestic terrorist against who? People that are here illegally? Good. Good. Get him out. Oh, my God. He's just terrible. He's a domestic terrorist. I'm here in Ireland, and no one likes me. I can imagine the neighbors. Ugh. They probably throw that word around. I know Ireland loves that word that you can't call a woman. Oh, they probably call her that all the time. He's a terrorist. Something's got to be done. I hope they get him out of there. What's going to happen? Let me tell you the truth of what happens in America with presidents. They do things, and Trump has been more extreme with not with his policies, but how he gets them done. He doesn't care about making friends or keeping friends with the Democrats or working across the aisle. He goes, this is what America needs, and I'm going to do it. So that's the only difference between him and other presidents. But truth be told, once he's out of office, he's done. He's not staying. He's not going to use the military to get another term. And J.D. Vance will probably be president. You know what J.D. Vance is? A politician. He does want to work with the other side. He's Donald Trump's vice president right now. So, of course, he's going to be the tough guy. Hey, yeah, screw you. I don't care what you think. Once Donald's gone and J.D. Vance is president, he will work with the other side. They'll do the same thing we've seen forever. Oh, there they are. They're trying to hammer a bill out. Well, here's some of this. Here's some of that. This is useless and wasteful, but we got a little of this. That's what's going to happen. There's nothing Donald Trump is going to do during his term as president that is irreparable and a existential threat to our democracy. This is all the hyperbole and nonsense and bull, quite frankly, gets people to take shots at him. That gets attempted assassination on him because they're saying stuff like, this is it. He's the guy. If it wasn't for Trump, we'd be walking around on chocolate syrup covered streets. Would that be good? I don't think that's good. What did I mean to say? Hershey bars? Nah, whatever. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's just going to be a presidential term that people look back on and go, that was a little different. That was fun. Or that was a little different. That was terrible. But then we just continue as America. And for the people that want Trump gone so bad, what are you going to love the way it was? with the real lying where no one is honest when they get in front of the media, where Chuck Schumer is another 20 terms of him lying to the people and pushing through these craptastic bills that cost you money and give nothing back to the country? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, ooh, Rosie, ooh, can't wait till he's gone. Yikes. I'm yelling, aren't I? Anywho, we'll be back in a matter of moments. Don't go anywhere. More of the show. Another Rosie clip here. I know. I apologize. This is her going off on the Epstein allegations. Now, before we get to the clip, look, I have no idea, no one does, what this Epstein debacle is and how it ties into Donald Trump. But here's what I will say. There are a lot of allegations being made that Trump was part of Epstein's inner circle of debaucherous sex with underage girls and all this stuff. And I don't have enough information to say that did happen or didn't. What I do have is common sense and the ability to reason, make some deductive reasoning with things I do have access to. Their latest allegation was that there are pictures of a nude Donald Trump, rare, and a girl that is questionable in age, and we haven't seen this. Can we really, again, I ask you to think. Joe Biden, whoever, was in charge. And the evidence, all the Epstein evidence was in their Justice Department's custody. Every bit of it. There isn't anything new now that wasn't there during Biden's administration. They went through trials, bogus 34 felony counts, the mortgage stuff. They tried to put him in prison to prevent him from running. When he got the nod from the Republicans, someone took a few pot shots at him. One hitting his ear, the other one getting busted at a golf course, trying to prevent him from being the president. Now, here's where I ask you, does it make any sense whatsoever? If they had an inkling that he had done anything inappropriate with girls at Epstein's Island with Epstein, that wouldn't have been a deal breaker for president, and they would have pulled that card out in a second? If there was any kind of photographic evidence of Trump in a compromising position with an underage girl, you think they'd go, well, we got that, but hide that. Keep that as an ace in the hole. We're going to try to blow his head off on national television. That's better than getting something he actually did, have a picture of, putting it out there, and destroying any chance he has of being the president. We'll just hold that for what? For when he's done? What are you holding this for? Well, the easiest answer, the Occam's razor answer, says there isn't such evidence. There isn't anything there that they can use to take this guy down. So whenever I hear people talking about this evidence of collusion with Epstein and inappropriate actions with girls, and I cannot believe it based on everything I just said. It just doesn't add up. But Rosie will tell you different. Here's Rosie slandering Donald Trump with some Epstein allegations.
Of us all figuring out why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files. We still don't know why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files.
We do know why,
Is
Jim.
Donald Trump.
We all know why.
Yeah.
You have to know why. Why else do you think he paid $1 billion to Jeffrey Epstein over the time of their friendship? $1 billion. He wrote in his birthday book, here's to all the secrets.
Wonderful secrets.
Oh, if this was an
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury murder, she wrote, people would be, it's too obvious.
We figured it out.
Obvious that he is guilty as sin. And America, you know, before he brings more troops into Chicago and harasses brown-skinned people, before he breaks more of the Constitution apart, before he starts having people get killed, we have to do something, America.
Yeah.
And it's
I
time
agree.
for every person with a platform to speak out about it. Every single person, now or never, break glass in time of emergency. It's time to break the glass.
And you saw, Rosie, what he did the other day when those brave women were up on Capitol Hill, the survivors, their families, they were all speaking out. At the same time, Donald Trump is saying it's a Democratic hoax.
How dare he, Jim?
Yeah.
How dare he? For every child that was ever raped by a grown man. How dare he? How dare he? We are mighty. 1 in 3 girls suffers child sex abuse. 1 in 5 boys. Those are the statistics, America. Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. Our president is a serial pedophile rapist, and that's what he is. And
there
in
you
America,
go
you're
get her,
allowed to have an
Donald.
opinion. You're allowed to say what you think. That's what our country was founded on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That isn't an opinion, Rosie. You just blatantly accused the president of being a serial pedophile. There wasn't any in my opinion or anything. Donald's got to go after her. I don't think he wants to give her the attention, or maybe he's waiting for a perfect time to screw with her. But that is just terrible, terrible slander. What do you have? He gave $1 billion to Epstein. Where is that? I've seen nothing to indicate that. He's in the files. What files? There are files with everyone's name in it. Epstein was a very active, powerful guy. And a lot of people, there are pictures of him with everybody. The beloved Clintons are with him. Where is it? Where's the evidence? If he's such a piece of garbage and did so many of these awful things, and he's an existential threat to the country, where is the evidence to put him away tomorrow, Rosie? Oh, my God. I'm all worked up. Sunday night, 11 o'clock, I'm all worked up. All right, people. We'll see you next week. Great time. Please tune in and continue your support.